What's poppin', everybody? Hello and welcome to Popcorn Culture. My name is Ben Carlin and I am your host. Here with me today is my brother Jay, who will be in every episode.
That's right, the host with the most plush stuff on his side of the table.
Outstandingly accurate.
Yes, I do. Look at this guy. Also, if you can see the table, you may notice that our the Stanley Duck is a bit crooked. A little bit, like if you look in the camera there, he's sitting a little diagonal, as to usual. I think it's possible that's because this duck has put in some work over the past weekend.
You know, it is entirely possible because this past weekend we did something that we've never done before in our YouTube careers, which is we kind of went full dude perfect.
I mean, like we went full dude perfect.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's like, I mean, this was so from the very beginning. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like an odd person to be in the realm of YouTube. Sometimes, like I very frequently feel like when we go to VidCon or something and you're surrounded by other creators, I always feel odd that like maybe I'm the only person who ended up here on accident, whereas it feels like everybody else like much more intentionally sought out this particular career path, and instead, you know, I'm just sort of like clinging on to your what do they call it? Coattail?
No, I don't think so.
I think that is what it's called, and
that might be what it's called, but I don't think it's what's happening.
Well, anyway, so the thing is that I sort of had this like odd experience with it. So like when I get like really into something, like I've always felt like my brain will absorb a whole bunch of information about it. Yeah, like very quickly, and for the most part, I will store it in a way that is like neater, because one thing I actually quite like is being able to like help guide people through things. I think it's why I used to like selling aquariums specifically to people who maintain them themselves.
Yeah, because you could like tell them how to do it.
Yeah, it's like, because like I have like a wealth of knowledge, and it was like, oh, I can like I have all these experiences. Let me share them with you, and hopefully guide you to additional success. The point is that here with YouTube, when we started the Super Carlin Brothers channel, I really didn't watch any YouTube videos almost at all, with the exception of a small amount of Philip DeFranco, Devin Supertramp, and Dude Perfect. Which means that I was not exactly following into like a kind of arena of YouTube consumption that may qualify someone as a connoisseur. You know, like all of these things are things that are like very, very viral in nature, very like broad strokes, maybe, if you will, like
perhaps, yeah,
easily enjoyed by many.
Right. Like, I mean, that's the thing about Dude Perfect. It's like everyone loves a good trick shot. You know,
everyone loves
like
a good trick shot.
Any given single trick shot can go completely viral of its own accord. Like half of TikTok, I think, is this exact thing. Or I don't know how your TikTok feed looks like, but
at the very least, a corner of it.
Oh yeah, a big corner.
This is,
I think, go for it.
Yeah, what I was gonna say is like I feel like this is TikTok, and like based on what your algorithm has determined about you, you might think like, oh, like everybody on TikTok is doing this, and then it's like I have never seen someone do what you're describing.
Exactly.
And it's
hit the like button if you have seen on TikTok someone clearly spends 6 hours hitting a ping pong ball into a roll of toilet paper.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Or the other one I've seen is where he's taking like compact discs, throwing them over his head. They bounce off the wall and then fall into the disc tray for the Xbox in front of him, and it like sort of like catches and then like slowly like feeds into the console, and it's like
so satisfying.
How long?
Or they're like throwing cards and like into like a clothespin that's like pinched. Oh,
right. It's like, oh my goodness. But like, you know, around him is like 7,000 cards that have been thrown, and it's just the person who's just sitting there, just one after another,
just doing this.
So anyway,
they've lost all focus. Sometimes you can tell the person's been doing it for so long that the success is like they can't even be excited about the success. So they're like,
they're well past the point of believing that it was even remotely possible for it to go
like,
in.
I don't know what I'm doing. I have nothing to. oh my God.
Right. Well, and the good news is that we can now relate.
We can now relate.
Because if you're familiar with the Super Carlo Brothers show, you will know that at one point in time, we decided that when Arthur Weasley asks Harry Potter, what is the function of a rubber duck, that we determined correctly that the function of a rubber duck is that they go into cups.
I mean, that's literally what our trophy is right here.
Well, it's
a duck on a cup.
It's a duck on a cup.
He's trying to be in the cup.
He is. He is. I mean, and as all ducks are at all times.
Exactly.
I mean,
Ducks go in cups.
Right. They're attempting to go to their rightful place.
Exactly.
And so we booked a rather spectacular Airbnb that was like 5 acres of space.
Quite scenic. Yeah.
Very pretty. Next to like a local waterway, and we went out there. We had purchased a huge variety of ducks.
So many ducks.
So many ducks. A huge variety of cups to go with those ducks.
So many cups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, for everything we had we had like a small rubber duck, and we had like a small cup, and we had like a medium rubber duck in a medium cup, and like a large rubber duck in a large cup, and then we had like mega, all sorts of stuff. So it was extremely fun to put so much energy into this. Like, Alice came down with me the first evening we were there, which I was going and like trying to get everything set up and like prepped for like when the whole team arrived with like cameras and drones and like all of the stuff. And Alice was saying like that she is excited to watch me do like birthday parties in the future because there was such a theme, and it was like I had like leaned so hard into this theme that there was like that there's just so much going on. Like there were small like candy ducks. There was like a duck bathrobe, a duck alarm clock, like
duck bathing suits, duck ice cubes, duck candy.
Yes.
Yeah, duck basketballs.
Right. Yes. So it's just like we're just covered, head to toe in all things duck.
Literally at points.
Yeah. Yes. And our goal for the weekend was to go down and literally spend 2 full like days doing nothing but going out and attempting to make trick shots by throwing ducks into cups.
Duck in a cup trick shot. And let me just say something I can really appreciate about the little colonels listening is that I'm fairly certain most people are listening to us talk about duck in a cup trick shots and are completely on the same page and need no further explanation about what we're talking about.
Right.
Because let me tell you, Ben, one of the hardest, the most annoying things about this weekend was trying to explain to anyone else in my life what on earth we were doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was just like, they were like, well, we're doing like duck in a cup shots. And I'm like, what's that? And it's like, well, we're like throwing like rubber ducks into cups. And they're like, okay, what? Huh? I'm like, no, it's like we're doing like trick shots where we're throwing ducks into cups. And they're like, you've lost me.
You're
I'm
saying
like,
the
I don't know what you want me to say. I'm telling you exactly what we're doing. It makes perfect sense. Ducks go in cups. You know that. Everyone knows that.
Everyone knows
it. What's the problem? Stop being. I'm not. Calm down.
Yes.
Exactly.
What do you want from me?
I know.
Yes.
What do you want from me?
I am explaining this perfectly, and you are not understanding.
Exactly.
It's not my fault.
It's not my fault. Duck in a cup.
Duck in a cup. So what we learned, though, is that the irregular nature of ducks is... Like, we've done this around the office. We've done the gag multiple times. We've incorporated it into videos, and whatever we do, we're like, oh, let's try and go get like 3-4 shots where we just like put a cup across the room and just throw it till we make it, and then we'll include that clip. And so like once we're out here, we have all this space and all these materials and all this stuff. It's like, okay, this is gonna be hard. Like we went out the first morning, and it's like it's 97 degrees, 100% humidity in like the just pure no shade sunlight, and I was like, let's just start easy, let's take
standard long distance throw duck in cup.
Exactly. So like we'll like walk 30 yards, we'll set like a large solo, I would say it's like a solo cup, but like the size of sort of like the bucket you brought to the beach as a kid to make a sandcastle with.
Sure.
It's about that size. And so it was a straight shot, just straight line, take the duck, heave it, until we can land it in the cup.
Yeah, the difficulty is the distance.
The difficulty is the distance. And I was like, this will be great. You know, like we gotta start with something simple. We gotta like get out there, you know, like we'll like, you know, kind of get the juices flowing, our confidence high, you know, get the psych level up for everybody. And we could not make the shot.
Yeah, the very first one we tried, by the end of the weekend we still didn't have it. And yeah, we had like maybe 12 or 14 ducks, which we could, you know, throw at once before we had to like reset and try again.
Yep.
Yeah. It was hard. And the other problem was that, like, I think the distance we put the cup away for whatever reason, I'm not sure how we like arbitrarily decided on it, but like our friend Mike was the one trying to make the shot because he has like the best throwing arm.
Yep,
I reckon.
Yep.
We're like, yeah, you got this, man. And I felt like we just like wore his arm out with like 200 duck throws right away.
Well, and I was standing on the other end of it, kind of like retrieving all the ducks that he missed, and then heaving them back.
Yeah.
So I was also exhausted from doing this.
Plus, we're just in the super hot sun.
Oh,
like
yeah.
everyone is immediately drenched in sweat. Like, okay, well, feels like we need a break. Good work, everyone.
Right. We have successfully done nothing.
We've done nothing.
And next shot, I
Next
guess.
shot.
Yeah.
We did get more successful as the weekend progressed, though.
Yes. Yeah.
And we got some very cool shots.
We did. And so I'm extremely excited to put together this entire video and share it with everybody and see like what this finished product looks like and whether or not it's something we could do again.
Yeah.
Because it is really not what we do on the channel, and most people out there are probably not searching for duck thrown trick shots, you know, on the interweb. So like what we need is such a catchy earworm of a song that people are like, ooh, I just want to watch it again just to hear that duck in a cup jingle, you know? But yeah, so I am like, everything about it was so fascinating. And so like the other big shot that we worked on was we have this like 3-man slingshot, which is kind of like 2 people hold and they are like the posts.
Yeah.
And then like a third person goes and stretches it back extremely far. And we were shooting like the biggest duck that we had. This duck into a trash can that was, again, looked like a really large solo cup, and again, really far away. And what we were like, we thought we were being smart about it too. We were like, okay, this will work out. What we'll do is we'll take a bunch of test shots, and then we'll just put the trash can at the distance, the max distance we can shoot this thing. And then at that point, all you're really doing,
it's just a matter of time.
Right? Yeah. It's like, you know, we're aiming it for one thing.
Yeah.
We know how far it can go under best case scenario. And so all you're really doing, I mean, it's just like, it's going to take like what, like 5-10 tries? You're like, we'll get it.
Yeah,
no
we'll
problem.
get it. Wrong.
The big wrong. Also, the other thing was I didn't plan that we would specifically do this. We only had this one duck available to shoot. So every single time we shot it with a 3-man slingshot, which I assure you goes very far, we had to go and retrieve it.
Yeah.
So it was like shoot, and then one of us would just take turns sprinting through the summer heat, getting the duck, checking the GoPros, and then coming back, and then we would shoot it again,
and then we do it again. So yeah, like we could maybe get, if everyone was like really going hyper efficient, we could maybe get in like one shot every 2 minutes or something.
Yeah,
but part of the problem was you guys, you and John and Mike started shooting the night before. Like I had to go home to take care of the kids and stuff, but I came back the next morning. You guys like figured some stuff out, which was good. And so what you guys determined was that if you're just shooting the duck straight from level ground to the can on level ground, is that the because you're not shooting a really high arc.
Right.
The opening in the duck in the can is not very big because it's coming in at such a weird angle.
Correct.
Our solution was to put the can at the bottom of a hill.
Yeah, well, obviously,
because then when the duck is falling, it's coming straight down, and you got a much bigger target.
Yes. So so like the way you could imagine it is almost if you were to put like a cup on the table in front of you, and the difference between looking at it from like your eye line, sitting in a chair at the cup, and realizing that you're not seeing a complete circle, you're sort of seeing like an eclipse. And this would be putting it in a position that you're staring at a complete circle. So like the increase in available space for the duck to go was percentage-wise drastic.
Yeah.
And again, I thought we were being brilliant, you know. And
well,
so
it's not a non-elegant solution. We just were up against several bigger problems, one of which was that we only had this one single duck, so we couldn't like dial in, we couldn't just like go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and like really dial in any level of consistency,
right?
Because we had to retrieve the duck each time, and we were taking turns getting the duck, and then the 3-man slingshot is its own mess of inconsistency. No matter how consistent you think you are, it's like John and Mike, they were the ones holding one of the, acting as the posts.
They were the posts.
And so it's like each of them, they're not the exact same height, and their arms aren't the exact same length. They're not holding them at the exact same angle as each other, or even at the same angle each time they're holding it.
Yeah.
And like you're pulling the duck back, and it's like, who knows? Who's to say if Ben's pulling the duck back, let's say 4 feet, or 4 feet and 2 inches, or 4 feet and 4 inches, and it's like that difference is like exponential once the duck is in the air.
Not to mention the duck is a regular shape.
Yeah. So not only that, like maybe you were firing it at 45 degrees, maybe it was 46, maybe it was 44. Who knows? Like there's like 1,000 tiny variables, plus the fact that what you're shooting is not like a spherical object or like is not flying straight through the air. But nonetheless, we came horribly close.
Upsettingly close.
It was almost worse being close than it was
missing by a mile.
Like if you missed by a mile, you're like, that's a bummer. If you're missing by a mile over and over and you're never getting any closer, you're like, this is just impossible. It's easy to walk away. When you're hitting the trash can, when you're landing 1 foot away, you're like, it's doable. We must continue.
Run it again. Run it again.
Plus you run into this issue of like sunk time, and you're like, guys, we've been at it for 2 hours. I don't know if we can make it. But then you're like, but we've been at it for 2 hours. Like now, if we don't make it, it's been like if we make it, those 2 hours were super worth it. If we don't make it,
total waste of time.
Then think of everything else we could have done.
Yes,
exactly.
And this is what we were learning very, very, very quickly with it, was like, oh my goodness, like we needed probably 2 more full days, bare minimum, like just to be able to have sunk as much time into these 2 shots as we did.
This is the horribly frustrating thing, is that maybe, or if we'd got it on like the 3rd shot, then you're just done. And like, for as unlucky as we were on this shot, we did have some that were pretty hard that we got in like under 10 throws or something.
Remarkably lucky. I don't want to give too much away.
Yeah, I don't want to give much away. I was trying to think. I cannot wait for you guys to see this video. I'm not at all sure when it's going to come out, or even if we're done filming. But
I know that's the other thing too. Yeah, like we literally got home and it was like, should I just book another? Should we just do it again?
Let's just go again.
Right, like like all of our friends who like took time to like come and travel from like different places to like be there with us to help do this like extremely exhausting weekend. I think I said it out. I was like, round 2.
Yeah.
And I was like half joking, half.
But if everyone's into it, I'm into it.
Yeah, right, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like I don't expect you to do this, but if everybody comes back with a resounding like, heck yeah, let's do it, it'd be like, done. We're booked.
Done as booked. See ya.
Round 2, here we come.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. I can't promise that will end up being the case. But I mean, I have never been so tired. Maybe in recent history, like I got to the end of the first day and I don't even remember falling asleep. It was like the type of thing where it was like I like was sort of like put like one leg on the bed and then woke up the next morning.
Yeah,
like, I was so tired. Mm-hmm. So I have a whole new respect for what those guys over at Dude Perfect do. Because
I know. It's like I have no idea how long they spent on some of those shots, but it must be forever.
Forever.
Yeah.
And then there's like the shots where they're like dropping it off of like a
a skyscraper.
Yeah, or like an extremely high dam or something, and you're like, what? No. What? No. How many basketballs do you have? What?
Yeah. How many times did you have to like go up the elevator or something? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, we got through the weekend. There's very possibly an extremely cool video on the way. Let's hope it doesn't completely flop. So if you're listening to this and you see a Duck in a Cup video come out, please watch it.
Yes, absolutely. Please watch it because it took a lot of time and effort, and I hope you enjoy it whenever it is in the future.
There you go.
Yeah.
Anyway, as we shift topics, how about a nice corny joke?
Oh, a good corny joke. Are we? Oh, you know what? It's hard to say if we made it under the 20-minute mark because we sort of joked around before we like started proper. But as I'm seeing it, it says 22 on the mark.
Wow.
So I don't know. Maybe this is under 20 minutes, maybe not. Maybe me explaining it has tipped it over and we're going to miss it by just seconds.
Some people's bingo cards are like, Jay, stop talking. Okay, guys.
Stop talking. Okay.
Today's corny joke is going to come from Jeshua Aveno. I hope I got that name right. Who says, why do nurses carry red crayons?
Why would a nurse need a red crayon to I don't know why.
Because sometimes they have to draw blood.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Isn't it good? Isn't it good?
They have to draw blood.
What I love is, like, for one, it's obviously a pun, but also I love the idea of like a nurse walking in and explaining a procedure and quite literally like drawing a stick figure with like a pool of blood.
Yeah, now this is what's gonna happen.
Right. Yeah. Oh man, something I would not handle well, even at all or in the slightest. I can't do blood.
Not a blood man.
Is anybody a blood man?
Well, we're sort of all blood people.
That's a good point. We are blood people.
We're all blood people. We're all just blood sacks in a way.
I don't want to think of it that way. This is I can't handle it. I feel like I've even as a kid, I remember struggling with it. Like we've talked before about how you and I both had surgery, and I remember getting like my first ever like IV put in and like almost passing out when they did it.
Yeah.
And then like at the time thinking I was just extremely nervous about the fact that I was about to undergo like significant surgery.
Yeah.
And then now as an adult, it's just like, I'll go in for like a physical or whatever, and they're like, all right, I'm gonna have to take blood, and I'm like, do we need to take blood?
Do we need to though?
Can I fall and scrape my knee and you just like collect some of that?
That seems safer.
It seems better to me.
Seems better. Like you'll still have it.
There could be some dirt in there. We could go pour a fresh concrete sidewalk. Yeah. That way it's nice and clean.
Clean sidewalk.
And we'll put some gravel right on top, make it extra
just rub
abrasive.
It with some hand sanitizer, get like all the germs killed.
Right.
Ahead of time, and then I'll fall on that spot.
Right. It's a perfect plan.
Perfect plan. This is how hand sanitizer works.
Put that red crayon away. Put it away. I'm not doing this game.
Oh boy.
Anyway.
I feel like I can feel my blood right now.
You are now aware of your blood pulsing through your veins.
You are now aware of your blood.
Okay.
Boy, I feel like that could make you faint, just being like,
I know, yeah. I need to not think about it. So I'm going to distract myself with a fun fact about coyotes. I've actually had this fun fact about coyotes on my note sheet for the past like 4 weeks. And every single week, I'm like, I still haven't used it. And so I'm going to keep it because I want to use this particular fun fact about coyotes.
Tell me a fun fact about coyotes.
Okay.
We've been sorely lacking in the coyote department.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, on that note, so I just recently purchased some land.
Okay.
To hopefully someday build a home on, not in the near future, because we just finished renovating our house. So I'm going to enjoy that.
Yeah, you can't not have something going on, can you?
No, I genuinely can't. I can't not have. I can. I don't know how the
must have something going on.
I must have something going on.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. I don't know why too, because it's just like my brain needs to be busy at all times.
Mm-hmm.
But so we closed on it yesterday morning, and so Alice and I like walked out afterwards, and we were perusing it and scoping everything out, and we were finding like little artifacts from like I guess the previous owners where they had like built some like maybe like dirt bike type of mounds, or they're not quite jumps, but they're something.
Okay.
And like Alice is walking around, she's like, hey, there's like a walking path over here, and I was like, I'm pretty sure that's a game path. And then I like walked like 3 steps, and I was like, I'm pretty sure that there's a coyote that comes down this game path.
Oh.
And I was like, oh my gosh, I basically have my own coyote now.
Wow.
I know. So my next order of business is to go and purchase a trail cam.
Oh, just seeing now you're going to be filming the coyotes.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And then we'll have to name it.
Oh, okay.
Something like Roger.
Well, this would be a fun way to use your land in the meantime.
It will be.
Yeah.
It will be. Yeah. There's lots of other plans for the land as well, because I can't not be doing something at one point in time. Anyway, fun fact about coyotes is going to come from Shruti Pradeep. And this is coyote adjacent, but there is an online vendor called coyotevest.com that sells vests and collars that are designed to prevent eagles from carrying away your dog, and eagles or other predators from snacking on them. So there are these okay, have you ever seen the movie The Proposal with Sandra Bullock and Ryan Reynolds?
I know that I have seen it.
Okay.
And is it that Sandra Bullock is like not a very good boss, and she like makes her employee act as her boyfriend, and then they fall in love or something?
It's something like
something
that.
like that.
Yeah. Like
I'm sure they end up together based on the casting and the premise and
all those things.
Yeah.
Right. So I think the general underlying idea behind the story is basically that she is maybe Canadian and her visa was not renewed, so she needs to get married in order to like continue to live in the country. And so,
I see.
Yeah, and then she requires this marrying of Ryan Reynolds. So his family lives in Alaska, so they have to like fly to Alaska over the weekend so they can like get to know each other really well, so they can pass the test to prove that they're in fact getting married and this isn't just like a shotgun wedding.
Gotcha.
Well, that's the premise. And while they're there though, because they live in Alaska, there are like birds of prey and such.
Yeah.
And they've got this like small little dog that they're like, oh, you got to be really careful when you take the dog outside because like an eagle will come and take the dog. And I was like, okay, well, that's a little like, obviously that's going to happen, and it does. But I'm like, that's ridiculous. That would never happen. Turns out, totally can happen. Actual real threat.
So someone's made like weighted vests for your dog, so the eagle's not strong enough to carry it away.
They're actually not weighted. They are like you maybe have seen them like on the top of buildings, but there's like all these like pointies that come off of them so that like the bird thinks it's like a porcupine or something. Doesn't want to do
I
it.
see.
So they're kind of like radical looking vests. Like it almost looks like something that someone who keeps their dog on the back of like a Harley Davidson or like in a sidecar or something.
Okay.
Like it almost looks like something that could be like fashionable in that context, but instead it's like literally what you might have to prevent your dog from being, hauled away or otherwise collected by a bear and or coyote. Right. So I saw this and I was like, wow, that is like amazingly cool. And then I feel like the more that I thought about it, it was like, hold on a second. This means if they made it, it means this was a problem enough for someone to make it.
Right.
And that's sad.
That's
like,
sad. So this happened to someone.
Yes. It's like how many times did it have to happen before someone came up with a solution? I want it to be once. Like the first time it ever happened, people were like, "Oh, that's a problem that we hadn't considered. Time to fix it forever.
Time to fix it forever for everyone."
Yeah, because I have a small dog named Chewy. I was like to call him Chewster.
Yeah.
And he would need one of these if we lived in bird of prey country.
I see.
Yeah.
We don't have no birds of prey here.
We don't have no birds of prey here.
Yeah, probably not where you live, I guess, specifically.
Well, where I might live eventually.
Where you might live eventually with the trail cams.
So
I wonder, though, if your dog is wearing these things, if it just stops them from even swooping down. Or if there's how do you prove? I guess the proof that it works is that your dog is still here.
Yeah,
right. It's not like, oh yeah, but you can't even believe it. Eagle came down, couldn't do anything. It like veered, it got real close and was like, never mind.
Swoop,
no! It's a hedgehog dog.
Yeah, that is really funny. It'd be like any other purchase where it's like, is it working? It's like, hold on, let me see if what's a good dog name right off? Scratchy. Let me see if Scratchy's still outside.
Yeah.
Yep, he's still out there.
Yeah.
It's working great.
Yeah, it's like insurance. It's like, it's working as long as no news is good news. It's like,
I know, but isn't that the worst?
Yeah.
It's like any of those things where you have to buy something just like you never actually know if it does anything at all, but you have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you're sort of like, do I want to get in an accident and just fucking like use this or something?
Most definitely not.
No, you don't. You don't. But in the meantime, you're like, but if I'm just not in an accident, then I feel like I'm just like spending all this money every month and like, it's just sort of a drag.
Well said.
Yeah.
It is sort of a drag.
It's just sort of a drag.
Yeah, insurance is just one of those things.
Yeah. At this point, though, it's like required by law, so you don't have to feel that bad. I suppose it's like you have to have it.
Right. It appeases that.
Yes.
You are solving something by having it all the time.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the real reason they did it. They were like, oh man, people really don't like doing this, but we really need them to do it. So like we'll make it required by law, and then it's kind of like, hey, look at me go. I'm following the law.
There it is. Ben, so you had a fun fact about coyotes. I have a follow-up different. I'm not sure if I'm going to call it a funny fact about giant sloths.
I didn't expect it, but I'm always happy for some element of surprise action.
Absolutely. The element of surprise strikes again.
Tell me about giant sloths.
Okay, well, this was posted on the Reddit by, I don't know how to pronounce their name, JROTC Girl on the Reddit, and they had posted a fantastic giant sloth fact for us about the Tonke Loma mystery, which is this place in South America where archaeologists have found this large, like, graveyard of giant sloths, and they're trying to figure out what killed them.
Devastation is washing over me.
What killed the giant sloth? What do you think what do you think it would take to kill a large amount, like a group of 20 giant sloths, which you'd think of as basically invincible?
You are not wrong, even in the slightest.
Right? Yeah.
Like when I think of 20 giant sloths, I'm like, there is nothing that could take these guys down.
Nothing.
Were they in the direct line of a meteor?
You know what? Natural disaster has been ruled out. They have considered it. It was not natural. There's no sign of natural disaster happening.
So that means, did they congregate on purpose? Was this like a community-based thing?
It does seem like that might have been part of it. They think it was a watering hole.
Okay.
Of sorts.
So reason for congregation at bare minimum. Okay.
Yes. Not necessarily known whether or not these were animals that always traveled in herds or not, but it seems like, in particular, there was a reason for them to all be in this one spot.
Okay. Was there a group of T-Rexes that had learned how to create a giant sloth ranch called Giant Sloth Park with festively themed Jeep Wranglers and poorly functioning electric fences?
Are you suggesting that T-Rexes came up with the idea for Jurassic Park, except it was Sloth Park?
Yep.
So in your version of Sloth Park, did the T-Rexes have to, like, were giant sloths extinct and they were like, let's bring them back, roar?
They were like, hey guys, grab me that mosquito over there.
Grab me that mosquito. They were like, hold on, I don't have good arms. I can't. It's taking a while. Hold, I'll get it.
I'll get it. Yes, I think basically what I'm thinking is that the Tyrannosaurus Rex had an unexpected level of science aptitude, and with that, did what many other dinosaurs thought to be impossible, and brought back a collection of giant sloths.
And then those sloths perished.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because the electric fences worked too well.
They were like way too good. They just zapped them.
The T-Rexes couldn't get in, and so they had just the lone pool of water inside, which became like murky or otherwise not good for sloth health.
Well, you know what? You are getting remarkably close to the truth, minus everything to do with the T-Rexes.
I was like, hold up.
Yeah, it was not Giant Sloth Park. And this is... Oh, man. Okay, so here's what actually happened. If possible, it's an even more fun / hilarious answer than what you come up with.
That does not even
It doesn't seem possible, but let me tell you that it would appear that the prevailing theory is that the giant sloths pooped themselves to death.
No, they did
They
not.
pooped themselves to death, man. Here's what I mean by that, and I'm going to say that I watched the video posted by JROTC Girl that was from, like, PBS, so it seemed like real scientists talking about it. This isn't just someone's, like, random one-off theory.
Okay.
It's a bunch of actual people. This is the actual theory that the giant sloths pooped themselves to death.
Are you suggesting for a moment that a one-off sloth-based theory by like a YouTuber who had never consumed YouTube before is potentially not a valid theory?
No, your thing about sloths being time travelers, totally valid.
Well, they can see the future,
right?
Which is how these giant bags of ground meat have continued to exist despite there being predators in the nearby.
They're all blood sloths in the end.
They know where to be in order to not be eaten.
Well,
and they're using, despite the fact that they move slowly, they can see quickly.
Okay, they can see quickly. Well, they were not eaten to death, but they were not. They could not see the poop, I suppose. as it were. They couldn't see that coming.
Oh no.
Bet you didn't see that coming. So here's what happened, or here's what they think happened, is that sometimes they did this by examining the modern day hippopotamus.
I love hippos.
Yeah, hippos are fantastic. They're super dangerous. You should not go near them. But they are cool. But sometimes, like, they'll be like, what's the word for a group of hippos? Like a pod of hippos. It seems like there's got to be a really good, like a rampage of hippos or something.
No,
like
I
a
think
hungry of hippos.
I think. Oh, I like a hungry of hippos.
A hungry of hippos.
I think it's a rampage of rhinos.
Oh, it's a rampage of rhinos.
Yeah, but I like a pod.
Okay, a pod
Or a cast.
A cast of hippos.
You get it, pod or cast.
Oh, nailed it. I was like, what is like a cat? Like, what are they, actors? Here's the cast.
Yes.
Yes, all hippos are actors.
At Hippo Park.
Hippo Park.
In my mind.
Hippopotapark.
In my mind, the idea of displaying fascinating creatures in parks has been done over and over and over again.
Through history.
Through history.
All species come up with zoos.
Yeah.
Okay.
Always.
Always.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, apparently what can happen sometimes with hippos, because they are like social animals and they do congregate and they do spend a lot of time in the water.
Okay.
And which means that they like defecate in the water.
Sure.
A lot. Now, if you have enough running water, it doesn't really matter. It just carries the poop away. No big deal. The water's still clean, right?
Yeah.
It's a river. It's constantly moving. Poop goes away. No problem.
Plus, from my understanding, giant sloths subscribe heavily to the hikers' saying of "leave no trace."
Yes, exactly. Sure.
Yes. Yeah. They're like, pack out, man, pack out.
Yeah. So anyway, what can happen, however, is you have too many hippos in one place and they're all like doing their business in the water or whatever.
Okay.
And then it's like a particularly hot season.
Okay.
What can suddenly happen is that the water starts to dry up and the tippos begin to tip the scale of the amount of water versus business in the water. And so that the water becomes less water and more just business.
Oh, no.
Yeah. In which case, not so clean anymore. And this can be very bad and poisonous to all of everyone involved. And that can be bad.
The giant sloths.
Now, if you can imagine giant sloths, as their name suggests, giant, which means the business is appropriately
giant.
More giant.
More giant.
More giant. And so this is exactly what they think happened at Tonke Loma, which is in South America, that the giant sloths were all having a swim trying to keep cool in the hot summer. And then the water started to dry up, and the water became less water and more business.
This was all one cozy afternoon.
I imagine it wasn't a single afternoon. It was probably just like I don't know how long it takes for like a river to dry up or something.
It seems like at least 2 days.
At least 2 days?
Maybe not just a single afternoon.
Not just a single afternoon.
I am no scientist.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah, sure.
Because I believed T-Rexes to have used giant sloth DNA.
Well, there you go. Apparently, part of the reason this is also believed is that around them is a lot of fossilized wood, and it's all the exact same size. So they think like that is a proof of all of the defecation, like it's all been pre-chewed up, and this is like what they have then deposited in the water, and then they died in the water, and that's why it's all around them.
Oh, man.
I know, terrible. Also, living sloths are pretty good swimmers, and there are other known swimming sloths.
Well, so my query here would be that it doesn't sound, if this is the case and it's been discovered this many years later, it must be that the water reservoir like didn't dry up one just sunny afternoon at Giant Sloth Park, but rather like forever. Because it seems like otherwise the remains would have just been like it would have stormed, water would have come back and washed away everything, and they wouldn't all be in one place.
Well, I don't know how like stormwater works and how fossils get moved around over time. And
well, trust me, I'm an expert.
Yeah, this could probably be said of anything that dies ever. Then, like, why weren't their bones just washed away in the next flood? I don't know.
Yeah, well, I always do think this is very interesting because I think that there are like certain like climates where the idea of where like fossils have been able to remain much more intact.
Yeah.
You know, because like the weather allows for it. This is kind of like similar to the case of like wood. Like if wood is just always underwater, it doesn't rot. Like it can last underwater for like a very, very long time. The reason that wood rots near water, like on docks or, you know, whatever the case may be, is because it is both exposed to air and water. So, you know, it's like it's wet, then it dries, then it rots, and then, you know, so on and so forth. But I always think that it's fascinating to think that we've found quite a many fossils in our archaeological digs.
Yeah.
You know, but also that we're finding fossils for creatures that must have been able to live in environments where fossils were also able to then persist for so long to then be discovered, which makes me think there must be a whole bundle of things that have existed on the planet that we've just never been able to discover because the climate didn't allow for fossils.
That's probably true. That's probably true. Boy, you know what is not to take like a super dark turn.
Oh no!
But if
it's already been pretty dark, a bunch of giant sloths died.
Yeah. Can you imagine like if like aliens discover the Earth like you know several million years into the future and the humans are just gone and like all the markings of any given like gravesite are just completely gone, like washed away from this, like tombstones have like ceased to exist, and they like start digging up fossils and stuff. They're just gonna find just like they're gonna like wonder, how did all the people die in these same spots? You know, like
that's true. That
like
is
we're
weird.
all buried together in a very orderly fashion.
Right. Yeah, it's like, this is odd.
What's going on here?
What do these people figure out?
Yeah.
That is a good point. Like, I also wonder, like, what type of remnants will continue to exist? So, like the Colosseum, like ancient Greece, stuff like that, where there are still, like, freestanding structures that have, like, survived. You know, and they're like, somewhat in ruins now, you know, but it's been thousands of years that they've been there. It's like, what about like our like the Empire State Building or something? You know, like let's
left
say,
to its own devices, how long will it just stand there?
How long will it just stand there?
Right.
Like, would it be able to stand the test of time, or was like the Colosseum built with materials, or similarly, is the climate much more conducive to something just persisting for extremely long periods of time? One of my favorite things about the movie with Will Smith, where there's a zombie invasion, I Am Legend, is it, or even just really in general, where there's like situations where you can see like nature have like come back. It's like I think it is endlessly fascinating to imagine like a situation where New York City is just completely vacant, and what would it look like even after just like 3 years of just like the weeds that came up through the cracks in the pavement, growing into small trees.
But this has got to exist. There must be like abandoned towns, like entire towns somewhere.
Yeah, well, when I first started dating Alice, she told me that she was really into like dark tourism, which I think is exactly this type of thing.
Okay,
like it's like situations in the world where something was built and then it was like left. You know,
and this is gone. We don't do this.
We don't. Yeah. And so, like, you can go to some of those places, and there's like amusement parks and stuff. Because of course it would be amusement parks. It's
because it's super creepy. It's just like Chernobyl, though, right? That's like there's like an amusement park there.
Maybe that is what it is.
Yeah.
And it's like now it's just like a rather like an upsetting idea. Yeah. But I don't know what it is about that. You know, it's the same thing like with dolls or clowns. You know, like where there are these things that are not intended to be scary by like their very nature. Like clowns are supposed to make you laugh, and dolls are supposed to be like, you know, adorable playthings for children and stuff. But then like, how is it that they were able to take those things and make them scary? You know, like was there a point in time where somebody like, because it seems now that people are just afraid of clowns. Like, like you probably wouldn't want to be around a clown. And is that because they have been made to be scary, or was there always something a little bit like?
Oh, do you think like clowns as a general rule are thought of as like scary first now?
Yeah, like I sort of think so. Interesting. Like, because I feel like, and it's been a hot second since I've been to my last circus, if I'm being completely honest. But it doesn't even seem like the clowns that are portrayed now that might participate in circuses are like in like all the face paint and like the wacky hair and stuff. It seems like they're now just like kind of wearing like oversized shoes and like pinstripes is kind of what I imagine.
Right.
But maybe not quite so like the clown from, you know, It.
Well, I mean, the clown from it is intentionally scary, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what it is about this. It's like, could you just take anything that's not meant to be scary and then put it into a scary situation, and all of a sudden it would be twice as terrifying?
I think you can, because it's like it's like the opposite of like why things are funny. It's like when they're like taken out of like things are funny because they're taken out of context or they're put in a place where they're not supposed to be.
Right.
And you do that in like a humorous way, or if you do it in one direction, it's funny, and then in the other direction, it's scary.
Is that like the thin line between love and hate?
Ooh, interesting. The thin line between laughter and fear.
Yeah.
Ooh, interesting. I don't know.
It feels like there's like a Monsters Inc. video that could be made about this exact.
Oh, you're right. These are the two things they're like doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like they go from scaring to laughter.
It's laughter. Man, I have not. They just started breaking the show Monsters at Work, which as of this recording, I have not started watching yet. But it is like on my to-do list to do like possibly even tonight. So maybe by the time people are listening to this, I will have watched it.
And you'll be more qualified to answer my question.
More qualified to answer your question.
I'll take that. I'll
Okay.
take that. Whoa! Transition. We were interrupted yesterday while recording the pop, and now we're picking up one day later.
Yes.
Mid-episode.
We did wear the same shirts.
we wore the same shirt. Okay, we should talk about this for a little bit, because I see you have in our show notes that we've been on YouTube for 9 years now.
We have been on YouTube for 9 years. It's like, it feels so fast and also so long.
I know. Well, so and probably the other disclaimer with that is that you have been professional at it, let's see, in October for 6 years.
Oh yes, it'll be 6. Oh my gosh, is that right? Because it was 2015. Whoa. Yeah, so that is insane.
Does that mean that you've been a professional YouTuber longer than you've been a professional anything else?
Yes, it will mean I will have been a professional YouTuber longer than I was ever a professional person who worked at a concert venue.
No way.
Right now, the weights are still heavier on the venue side.
But so this means though that at your next job you're gonna be like, listen guys, back in my YouTube thing.
You guys may not know this. I used to own my own YouTube channel.
It's like, really? It doesn't come up constantly or anything.
I don't know about next job. Hopefully, gosh. Ooh.
No, I know. Yeah. I mean, there's it's so funny too, because I think it's like one of those things, and I try to kind of like hold back, like if I'm like meeting new people from like bringing this up, like I'll like focus the conversation on the other person and be like, and they're like, oh, what do you do? And it's like, I make videos on the internet.
Yes. So I think I always think I'm super bad at like conversations. Like, I'm good at talking to you on the show, but do not be fooled, listeners. I am bad at talking to people in real life.
What?
I think so. I am so bad at carrying on conversations. I'm so bad at remembering what even my friends are like presently in the middle of. And, like I'll talk to someone for like 20 minutes and I'll be like, I can't think of anything to say. And they'll be like, yeah, so my home renovations are almost done. I'm like, I should have asked about that. God, like, why can't I think? Like, so obvious.
Right. Yeah. No, it's interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah.
So it's like one of those things that like you kind of like hesitate to bring up, because one of the things that I love about what we do is people do think it's cool. Like,
for sure.
I think that there are, and it works in a couple of different avenues too, because I think that many like adults, it's fine. I'm like 31, referring to people as adults as if as if I'm not 31, but still adults. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Old people.
Sure, that and you can even tell them, and it's funny because they won't get it. Like, they definitely won't like maybe like immediately understand that it can be a career, but almost always they will have like a family member, a child, a nephew, a niece, someone who does consume it, and they're like, no way, my son, it's always, that's what you do, that's amazing.
It's this weird effect where like everyone around our age is around kids who are watching YouTubers who are professional, and it's like what they do, and it's like all the kids want to be YouTubers, but they must be watching someone who's already doing it, and now it's like, but that number of people is very small.
Yes.
And so it's like no one can believe, especially here in Roanoke, Virginia, that they've run into someone who is now professionally doing it. And I do, like, one of my greatest weaknesses in conversation is I think a very easy icebreaker, a very easy conversation starter with new people is, what do you do? But my conversational challenge is like, I refuse to ask people that because it means they will reciprocate the question.
Right.
And I'm like, and that's just going to like, I know what conversation happens after that.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
It is responded with a bunch of questions, and it's not that I even remotely mind answering those questions. I mean, I very much enjoy talking about it, but I also do feel like there is the knowledge, the awareness that it's about to monopolize the conversation.
Yes, and it's like the way it almost feels to me is that like as if someone's going to walk away from the conversation feeling as if I manipulated it that way. Like, oh, like, well, what do you do? Go ahead, ask me.
Ask me. It's my turn.
Return the serve.
Return the serve.
It.
Yeah. No. So it's funny in that way, but the double-edged sword to it, I would say, is, and this I brought this up a lot of times, and even in these conversations, this is usually what I'll say, is that there's the realization that nobody has lived a lifelong career doing this yet. Like
right.
It's too new for even like, the earliest adopters of it. It still hasn't been a long enough period of time compared to like how long our grandfather worked for IBM.
Yeah.
Like that was his career. That is what he did. He got a job there and he worked there, for his life. And so that is like always one of the things that like really scares me about it is so like every year that goes by I always get so excited because I'm like, we did it for another year. Like we continue, and Alice is always, she's like, oh my God, we're a year older. And I'm like, no, we're a year older.
Exactly. We did it.
We're continuing.
It's so weird too to feel like we've been on YouTube for 9 years because you're right. It's only been like professionally full time for almost 6 years.
But what's even remarkable about that, though, is that it means that we have now been doing YouTube professionally longer than we were doing it not professionally, which I think is...
Oh, that's a good point. You're right. We've been doing it professionally longer than we were doing it unprofessionally.
Yes.
Ooh, I've never thought about it like that. That's a fun way to look at it. Another weird thing I always like I never know how to time these things is like I sort of did some YouTube in college as well in like 2009.
That's
so it's like,
true.
There's like a couple of years of doing stuff on YouTube, but it wasn't super Carlin Brothers before then. And yeah, like, so I've been sort of like doing YouTube since 2009. And in that case, I'm well over 10 years. But
I know. Look at you go.
I know.
A career man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Of course,
Yeah.
that of course I didn't make a single dollar on.
Well, it's partially my fault.
Well, I don't think. No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm sure we've told this story before.
I'm sure we
the long and the short of it is that basically I discovered that I didn't really want to do YouTube at all. I didn't it wasn't like I didn't consume it. It wasn't a passion or anything like that. So, but when you did it and I discovered that you were like made partner, which meant that you could like make money on it. That part enthralled me. I was like, this is awesome. Like, I want to do whatever I can to make sure he can do this. So I told all my friends and I explained how it worked, and we all like watched every ad and like refreshed the screen and watched it again. And then I think YouTube was like, hey, there's a little bit too much activity going on here in Radford, Virginia. I'm pretty sure from the same IP address.
Mm-hmm.
We can't be hazing that.
Can't be hazing anyone gaming the system here.
Yeah, so that channel.
But gaming the system, meaning I think you guys earned me about $50.
Yeah, right.
You know?
I know. Yeah, it's like
come on, Google.
Right, but at the time, even like when we started Super Carlin Brothers, that did feel like a tremendous amount.
Yeah.
In terms of like, I remember we were making videos in year one, and Red Bull did the space jump thing. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
And I remember at this point in time, we had been doing it long enough, or maybe you didn't have to. Maybe anybody could be monetized once we started, and so we just were, even though we were making no money whatsoever. But I remember we made $4 in one day, and I think it was because I like talked about it. It must have been the case that like Red Bull was paying for like a ton of like super premium advertising, and
right. And then
like,
you talked about Red Bull and you activated the keywords.
Exactly. Yeah. So like it worked exactly how it was supposed to be. But like normally we would make like 17 cents a day, and on that day we made like $4, and it was like,
What a jump.
Right. Like, I mean,
From space.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but it felt like the same for us too. I mean, the same thrill, certainly.
Oh,
as
yeah.
Jumping from space.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. It sounds like $50. What? Like I was refreshing the page, like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
Yeah,
This is happening.
Well, and it's really funny right now because I have a very similar thing that's going on with like my new. I can't even call it a side hustle because I'm literally making $0 on it. But it has been selling Pokemon cards for my friends.
Right.
So like I had our good buddy Michael Austin, who is getting married here in a few weeks. We were at dinner one night and he was like, yeah, I've got like a binder full of Pokemon cards in my storage unit. Like, I don't think they're worth anything. And I was like, of course, we've been talking about Pokemon cards a lot and buying them. And I was like,
let me just also clarify. We are not like scalping YouTube cards and then reselling them and driving up prices on the market or something.
No,
Yeah.
This is friends.
These are like friends who have found their old binders and been like, oh, you guys are doing Pokemon cards? Do you want them?
Right. Or can you sell them for me?
Yeah, or can you sell them for me?
Yeah. So my big thing with Mike that I thought would be so fun is that like when he was telling me about it, I was like, oh man, like I have a very strong feeling that he is sitting on more value in that binder than maybe he realizes. And it was actually funny because I remember this happening, but he used to live just down the street from us, actually, both of us, in the house that we lived in that we started Super Carlin Brothers out of. He lived in an apartment just down the way. And I remember at one point in time, he had a yard sale, and I think he brought the cards out, and literally like on each of the binder like spaces, you could see where he had like individually like priced all of the cards in case somebody came by and they were like, "Ooh, Pokemon cards,
Cool.
Garage sale. This is the place to buy them at." Because
That is the place. If you can find a good old binder at a garage sale.
right, just be like, "Yeah, I'll take the whole thing."
I'll take the whole thing. What do you say, $2?
yeah, right, yeah, $2.50. All right, it's a deal.
Good haggle.
Anyway, so yeah, we're sitting at dinner and I was like, "Dude, let's go grab them and I'll see what I can do." And I was like, I was holding the cards of knowledge, which were like, "Oh, this is going to be fun. This is going to be really fun." So I didn't tell him anything else. Like he gave me the binder and I didn't mention it to him again. And I went through and I was finding all these cards and he had a bunch of specifically French first editions.
First edition French Pokemon cards from the base set.
From the base set,
Base
yes.
set
like
French firsties.
Yes. Base set French firsties.
Mm-hmm.
And so like one of the ones that he had was a first edition Blastoise. And that's, obviously like one of the big, one of the
big three, the starters.
The starters.
Charizard, Blastoise, and Venusaur.
Right, yeah. And it was holographic and, it was in good shape.
It had a mustache on it, all French-like.
No, obviously. Obviously, yes.
That'd be amazing. Like all the French cards also had mustaches.
Also had mustaches.
It did not, sadly.
Unfortunately. But yeah, so like that was like, like the big heavy hitter that we had. But so I went through and, I figured out, I did some research on all the cards and I listed, I think it was like 16 of them or something. And oh my gosh, if it wasn't the most fun thing I've done in several months, was just literally sitting there and like watching people find them, start watching them on eBay, and then bidding on them.
Yeah.
And it is, I can't even tell you how much fun I've been having with it.
Had you ever sold anything on eBay before at all?
I think I'd sold maybe 2 things ever.
Yeah.
And which is strange for me because I am like a resale maniac. Like
Yeah.
I think that I am like almost, despite how most of my career is revolving around like nostalgia and loving these things that we like loved as kids and celebrating those things. It's odd for me, but I'm usually not very emotionally attached to just about anything. So it's kind of like if I bought something and I'm no longer using it, and like even if it was my first ever bicycle, it's like well, oh well, know, it has value to someone else, and then I can use that value to put into something I'm enthusiastic about now.
Exactly. And you'll still have the memories of that bicycle.
Exactly. And I will say, on a very, very brief tangent, we've talked about like the Disney wedding before and stuff like that. The thing that I love the most about the Disney wedding is the fact that I get those memories for the rest of my life.
Right.
Like, and that's like, it's like, I don't need, like the lapel pin that I wore that day, or like, like the boutonniere or something, like freeze dried or whatever.
Right.
Like as like the token, it's kind of like I get to have those memories and I love those memories. They're like, it's like, people talk about the best day of their life, and it's like, quite literally,
Yeah.
like,
Oh yeah. It was a really cool day. It was awesome.
Incredible. But so, okay, yeah. So, started listing these cards and like, you're getting all this attention on it and stuff. And the most fun thing about it is I think that I actually just also really like auctions.
Oh yeah.
Because there's
auction. I mean, you and I have been to some silent auctions together before, and you and I feel like are like kids at a candy store.
We are.
We're just like, oh my god, this is so fun. It's probably dangerous. It's a dangerous thing to like.
It is a dangerous thing to like. The good news is that almost always when we're doing it, there's a nonprofit that is benefiting from our
true.
being there. Actually, the very table, if you're listening, you can't see it, but if you're watching, you can.
Yeah.
It is a handcrafted slab of walnut, like with bow ties to correct like where there were some like cracks in the wood and stuff. So it's just a local guy here made it, and I saw it and fell in love with it. You guys know how I like trees and wood and all the rest. And so I totally got in a bidding war with somebody over it, and then come to find out it was like one of our mom's best friends was like the other person bidding. So we totally ran it up, but we got it, and it's here now.
We got it.
We actually flipped a coin originally, and you were supposed to keep it. And
yes, that was the problem. I don't think we thought we were going to get it, and then we did, and I was like, who's going to keep the table? Yeah, we flipped a coin, and I won the coin toss, and I was like, yes, Beth, we won the coffee table. And she was like, I don't want that. Like, that doesn't fit with any of our stuff. And I was like, okay, fine. But
you want to know what it does fit with?
the pop.
Well, the pop and all of
and
my
all
stuff.
of your stuff. So really, you were the one true owner of the table.
Yeah,
in the end.
yeah. I mean, and I love it so very much. Where was I going with this? But yeah, so the auctions though. So you get to like the end, like the final minute, and so like the Blastoise in particular, I'm sitting there, and it had like throughout the week, it was like $35, $45. Like I remember sending you updates at like when it hit like 55, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's over $50. Like how cool is that? And then like the next day it hit like 125, and I was like,
no way,
this is unreal. Mike told me he thought if the entire binder was worth $100, then he'd like win, and I'm
right,
like,
yeah.
One card, we're already over by
over.
$25. And again, like 2 days left in the auction, it goes up to like $250, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, this is unbelievable. Like I am so excited about it. So finally you get to like the last like 2 minutes, and Alice is standing in the kitchen with me, and I was like, you might want to film me, because there is a chance that this is going to go like I don't know that it will. It was the first card that I listed, so the first card that was going to sell. It was far and away the most valuable one that I even knew that going into it. But I was like, I don't know if anything will happen, in this last couple minutes. Maybe it will just sell for $250, and that will be great. Like, absolutely no issues. This has already surpassed my expectations. And so, she starts filming, and we're sitting there, and I'm like, oh man, like refreshing, looking at it. And then like in the last like literal 8 seconds, it goes up to $435.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yes!
What just happened?
Yes! Like, and this was the first card. I have more. And again, I hadn't told Mike any of this. I'm not a single word. So like the whole time, he's just like, he's completely in the dark. Ended up selling the 16 cards that we listed for a grand total of $1,000. Unbelievable. I was so happy. I was so excited. And because he didn't know, I went and I pulled the money out in cash instead of just like, Venmoing it to him or something. And on our way up to the bachelor party, I actually wrapped like a rubber banded, like
a wad of cash.
A wad of cash. And like we got in the car and we're driving out to Snowshoe, and it's like just sitting on my center console.
Just sitting there, just begging to be opened. You like wrapped it up in like very like just plain looking brown paper.
Yeah,
some twine.
Like butcher paper.
Yeah.
And I had like a bow of twine around it and stuff, and like just didn't address it at all. So we're like an hour and a half into the drive, and somebody was like, what's up with the box? And Mike was like, I saw it too, and I was wondering, but I didn't want to ask. And I was like, oh, this box?
You want
it's just a little something.
Yeah.
It's for you.
This. Yeah.
Yeah. So like hand it back, and he's like opening it up, and he just recently started like a food prep business, and I had actually put it inside of an old business card box that I had, because it was from moo.com, and all those things are just it's like a magnetic clasp, and it's very
nice.
So he opens it up, and he sees the moo box, and I know he knows what that brand is, and so he was like, oh, like business cards, like that's so cool, like for my food prep business, like how thoughtful. And then he opens it up, and it's like still wrapped in like tissue paper from there. So he's like, obviously at this point in time it's like not business cards. So he's peeling it back, and he's like, what the heck?
Yeah.
What is this?
What was great was like you had a little note that was like, we sold the Pokemon cards. Here's what we got or something.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it was like
yeah.
a very like almost like very crude looking note. Like, oh yeah,
I
Just
wrote
like,
it on a used envelope.
Yeah. And then of course he like picks up the cash and he's looking at it, and the weird thing about like money that's rolled up is like you have no idea how much it is. So even then he has no idea.
I mean, because I could have gone and got like 100 $1 bills,
Exactly.
and it would have looked very impressive. But it would have, I mean, I think he would have been beyond delighted with that. It would have been no issue. But yeah, it's $1,000, and like I mean, his jaw was like just on the floor.
Drop. Like what?
Yeah. So it was, oh my God, it was such a rewarding moment for me. It was like, this is like, I am happier like giving you this than I would be if you gave it to me.
Right,
Like this is the treasure, it's like, oh, I'm so happy. And then I was addicted.
Yeah. So now you've been.
So
Have you been selling more?
I've been selling more. I've been like asking my friends, I'm like, hey, who else has like Pokemon cards in their closet from when they were kids? I will give you the money. It's all
don't
yours.
worry. Yeah, 100%. I just want to sell it.
I want to sell it. I have like a label printer that we use for shipping stuff for SCB usually. But like shipping labels, and so like I've got like all these like nice little bubble mailers, and I feel like they just look so nice when there's like a stack of them ready to go to the post office.
Ready to go.
But here's the weird thing about it is that anybody who knows that their Pokemon cards are valuable have taken it upon themselves to usually do something with that. And so the now odd struggle that I'm having, because like once Mike's cards were like, running out, I was like, well, I need something else. I need a refill.
Yeah.
And fortunately, your friend AJ just happened to come by that day, and he was like, yeah, like, I found some of my old Pokemon cards. And I was like, can I sell them for you? And he was like,
here you go.
Here they are. You hand them over. And I was like, awesome.
Great.
So like been doing that. And then our good buddy Steven, who we always talk about on the pod, same thing. He was like, I have some too. So now this is like my new quest.
This is a new thing. Yeah.
I need to figure out how to get in touch with all of my friends, probably parents,
right,
who still have access to their childhood closets.
Yes.
And then, stacks of cards that, everybody once upon a time, back when we all started collecting these things in the 90s, were like, oh, this is going to be so valuable one day. And then like, there's that huge...
Today is the day.
It's like 2 decades of time where it was like, remember when we thought they were going to be valuable? And it was just like, maybe Beanie Babies will make a turn like this too, where all of a sudden it's like, we want them guys.
Right. But, I have a freaking box of Beanie Babies in my basement right now from our childhood. All the tags are, completely, destroyed. They're all super played with. And like, there is that part of me that's just like, I should just get rid of these because they're just taking up space. I haven't opened the box. And like, part of me is like, I guess I could let like Luke play with them, but there's like so many that I'm like, if I open this, it's like there are too many.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like you should just like bring one out like a month. Yeah,
it's like rotated.
It's like, here's a new plush fish for you to play with.
Yeah,
I found it's one of my old toys.
Welcome.
You get to have it now. Enjoy.
Yeah, maybe I'll go pick out some of like my favorites. Be like, here's 5 Beanie Babies. You're welcome. I took and I feel then there's always this part of me that's like, I think I've picked it up to put it in my car. And I'm like, but maybe
it could be.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I also have all these boxes of toys that I have also like sort of like mom, was clearing out the family basement one day and she's trying to just, dump all of our old stuff on us. And I was the sucker that got stuck with everything.
Way to go.
And part of me was like, you know what? I'll just keep these and I can like, maybe I'll be able to like give them to my kids or something someday. But now I am like I'm like here at like, that has been my motivation for keeping them for years. They've just sat in a box in my basement. And now I'm like at the threshold of like, now I have kids and I'm like, I just want to get rid of them.
Oh, really? I don't want to bring these out.
Part of me is like, I know, I'm like, there's so many. The toys aren't even relevant anymore. Like, it's not worth it. Like, it's just too much. It's like so much stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I think I would just feel happier if they were just gone.
If they were just gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Sense. Well, so, and my long story short is that this is my calling card. If any of my actual, like my friends here in Roanoke are listening and you're like, I do have a box in my closet, it's like, give me a call.
I want to see them Pokemon cards. Here's a weird thing is that I know you talked earlier about how you, or earlier this week, on Jay vs. Ben, how you sold your Pokemon cards and got a Razor scooter when you were a kid.
Yep.
Right? Like, I had my own Pokemon cards, and I have no idea what became of them. Because, like, I had, like, a whole binder full of, like, my holos, my rares.
Yeah, we got to find these, man.
And I know. I don't know where they are, because I have... Like I said, Mom dumped all the stuff on me, and there's like a binder full of some Pokemon cards, but none of them are like first edition. They're all just, you know, random base set commons. And I'm like, where are my cards? I don't know.
This feels to me like one of those, because you would have been so careful. You, like I said, your DNA has responsibility.
Oh, I've got plenty of very nice, pristine, like, you know, like Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Yeah.
Also down there.
This is why they exist, and we have to find them.
Yeah.
Because I'm running low on stock right now, and I need inventory, man.
I know. Got to get your fix.
I know. It's such a rush. No, the real thing is I have just been having just so much fun with it.
Well, the world of eBay is like crazy. Like, you know, I think one day we were having lunch and we were watching. You had like several things that were about to time out, like 3 minutes apart or something from each other.
Yeah.
Like every 3 minutes, a new card was about to go, and you can watch on your phone, like watch the live update second by second, and it's amazing to me how down to the very last second people are willing to wait, and then all of a sudden it'll be like $1, $1, $1, 5, 10, 11, boom.
Yeah.
And you're like, whoa.
And that's the thing. That's like, it's what's so crazy is that like earning that $11 to me is like, it's like, this is better than anything else. Yeah. Like, you know, like, it's like I could easily go and, I mean, on the daily, you know, like, you know, my aquarium clients or whatever, you know, like I'm earning money doing that. Well, I mean, the company is not, you know, whatever. But it's like, I don't know. These small little things are so. I don't know why it's so rewarding.
It's such like a fun victory.
It's a better $11.
It's a better $11, right?
Yes. I like this $11 better than the other $11.
Right. Like this is almost like found money.
When I'm not even keeping it.
Yeah. It's like you found $1 in the middle of a street, and you were like, maybe if I just stare at the dollar for another like 10 seconds, it'll turn into $11, like while I'm reaching for it.
And if that happens, it will be a miracle, and then I'll have it.
Exactly. Yeah. Except you're not even keeping the 11.
I know.
Like you then have to send the card off and give the money to a third party.
Yeah, I mean, it's like this is why I do it.
Yeah.
This is why I do what I do.
This is it.
I found my jar of purpose.
You're a giver. Your jar of purpose is full of old Pokemon cards to sell on eBay.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. No, I swear though, I mean, we've told the story before about our dad. You know, he had rare Hot Wheels cars when we were kids, and he sold them and bought us a family canoe. And I think it was just like one of those things that, like, as a 8-year-old watching that happen, I was like, this is the most miraculous thing I've ever seen, and I want that.
I want in.
And it like that desire never expired for me.
Yeah.
It was just like it was like I really wanted it as a kid. It was like my dream, and then I got older and it was still there.
Well, even as a kid, you sort of did it with the cards because you traded them in and got a scooter.
I know, except I probably could have gotten way more scooters.
That's true. Yes, I think had you sat on that collection for another 30 years and we're selling them now, boy, you'd probably be really raking some dough in there. More than one scooter.
More than one.
Yeah, maybe even electronic scooter or something. And maybe you could have commuted to work on your scooter.
A commuter?
A scooter?
I think I'm thinking like K. Yeah, K. I'm gonna stick with it.
Yeah.
KOMOOTER. A commuter.
A commuter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a scooter, but a commuter.
A commuter.
Yeah.
A commuter scooter.
A commuter scooter.
Yeah.
We just started a new thing.
We just did it.
Who wants in on commuter?
Right. We're taking investments now.
It will be okay. Goodness gracious. Are we at a good spot? I mean, we just
invented the future.
Yes,
right.
We did. Absolutely.
Yeah. We've solved all commuting problems, as it were.
As it were.
Yeah.
Like formerly, people used to call it commuting.
Yeah.
But now people be like, oh yeah, I have a commute. Yeah. And they'll be like, oh yeah, commute is like one of those words like
Commute sounds like an app.
It does.
It does, right? Like you guys on Commute?
On Commute.
Yeah.
But like, see, this is the thing. It's so popular that the word commute will dissolve away, and we will become the Kleenex
Yeah.
of the word commute.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you think what is our? I'm sort of imagining like a cow in the logo somehow.
Oh, certainly.
Because of the moo.
Could not be more. I had no idea why a cow.
Yeah.
But as soon as you said it, I was like, this is right.
So maybe maybe our scooters should have like cow print on them, because then they're commuters.
Yes.
Right? And people like, because who rides a cow?
It's our signature. It's our stamp.
Yeah.
You know, people are like, it's like, oh yeah, the cow.
Yeah. Cow print is in.
It is. And maybe we'll also have like a rural commuter.
A rural commuter.
Yeah. With off-road tires.
Ooh, yes. And like suspension.
Yes.
Yeah. You can take it downhill commuting at like a commute park. Don't flomp on the ground.
Hang on real tight. Wear a helmet.
I can't even imagine downhill scooting. That sounds like just pure danger.
I think you mean commutering.
Commutering, you're right.
Yeah. All right, guys, as always, if you have any feedback for us here at the show, you can send it into popcornculturepod@gmail.com. If you would like to support us over on Patreon, you can do so at patreon.com/popcornculture. We have lots of cool tiers there that include lots of fun additional pieces of content.
Yes.
We have an episode called Burnt Popcorn,
yes,
which is like when Jay and I just like take a stab at thinking we know something, and then Jordan researches it, and we talk to her, and she corrects us
or tells us we were right,
which occasionally we are.
Yeah,
like,
sometimes.
Like I know the average length of a shower, you know,
yeah,
and approximate gallonage of water used,
yeah,
in said shower.
Right. These are the things you can learn on Burnt Popcorn.
I know. It's like, I know what you're thinking to yourself right now. Like, I do need that information.
Right. If you're ever listening to the show and you're like, no, that's not right, guys, Burnt Popcorn is for you, because Jordan will be that vessel for you to say, you guys were wrong.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And we also take we take suggestions. So if you have any thoughts or feedback, again, it's going to be patreon.com/popcornculture. Otherwise, guys, until next week.
Pop.
You almost say bye?
I almost said bye.
Let's close out one more time.
Okay.
Until next week.
Pop.